Why do you think diet is still something that's not very common for doctors traditionally to talk about, either when it comes to prevention or during a treatment?
I I hate to think it, but I think that there is so much focus on drugs in the medical profession that they're not open to the idea that nutrition might have a major role. And the drug companies, medicine, and I hate to say it, but medicine has become a big business. It's no longer the doctors that were there when I was a child, where you went and you paid the doctor, and if you couldn't afford the doctor, that was all right. They didn't, you didn't have all these layers of people. You didn't have insurance companies. There was a house that had been converted to a hospital in my hometown. There was a nurse that was the director of the hospital, and there were doctors that went and had their practice. I mean, it was a whole different thing then. But on the other hand, people mostly grew their own fruit and vegetables, and you didn't have genetically modified foods, and you didn't have growth hormones, and you didn't have all those things that we have today. So I think that I was on a panel in Philadelphia for WHRO, and it was me and a thoracic surgeon, an oncologist, and one other traditional. And I mentioned, well, first the host said to them, "What do you think about this man? He cured himself with natural holistic interventions." And they said, "Well, he's the exception." And I started to say, "I'm not the exception," and they cut me off and went to break. So when they come back, I found my way to go back to it. And I said, there are a lot of people that are being cured by the alternative doctors without chemo, surgery, and radiation. And I said, and nutrition is so important. They said, nutrition, that's not important at all. And I thought, well, I think I forget that there are those people now because I'm interviewing people like Dr. Dale Bredesen, who has developed a cure for Alzheimer's. Nutrition is a big role. Dr. Terry Walls, who had multiple sclerosis, couldn't get any help. She researched, she cured herself. She bicycles 10 miles to work, 10 miles home every day. She teaches she's doing research at the University of Iowa on multiple sclerosis. Walter Longo has developed the fasting mimicking diet. He has found that the people that live the longest in these other cultures are the fast. And he found that increases longevity and health along the way. And so he's developed a diet where you fast without fasting. And he told me that he has 50,000 subjects in the studies now that are being done using this with Alzheimer's, with multiple sclerosis, with cancer. And one of the things they found with cancer is this diet kills cancer cells in the lab. A diet, nutrition. So sooner or later, those oncologists that don't think nutrition is important, and with my brother at 91 developed lung cancer, the same that I had, and he chose radiation because that's what his doctor wanted. And I support, if someone chooses radiation, I support it. I support anything that people choose, but I want to make sure that they know all of the alternatives, that they know that it's not just the chemo, radiation, surgery, that there are alternatives. And if they still choose it, I support them. And I supported my brother, but I did say, would you please take the Laetrile even though I wasn't sure that the Laetrile by itself would help, but I thought maybe along with the chemo it would help. I mean, along with the radiation. But his memory was so bad that he didn't remember to take it, and he lasted about 7 weeks. They gave him radiation 5 days a week for 5 weeks, which was too much for a 91-year-old man. So I support whatever people choose, but I want them to know that there are alternatives and that I lived through using alternatives.